Welcome back, episode 3 of the Boys podcast. ET just joined. So we got some good news and some bad news for you guys. Bad news is Quinn won't be joining us any longer for any more episodes. Um, because ET, can you please?
Yeah.
Anyway. So Quinn won't be attending any more episodes. You can't make any more, so you won't see him as often on here. He
And
might be.
my recognition.
He might be. Um, he might be a guest from time to time. We don't know yet. But anyway, he won't be as here as often. Even though you guys just saw one episode of him. Um, I think Austin has something to say.
Yeah. I will no longer be a guest of any sorts on this podcast due to schedule increase. I'm very sorry to say goodbye to this podcast because it's doing quite well and it's slowly gaining more popularity. Um, but yeah, I will no longer be a part of this. So thank you guys for always having me week after week, and it's always appreciated.
So right now, me and Austin, he's at my house. He's across from my patio here. So if you see me look up, that's why, because he's right there, and then I'm right here.
Yeah.
Another bad thing, though, is that we can't get these guys' cameras to work for this episode, but we'll have it better, hopefully, next time. Some good things, though, I got a mic, so it's going to be better quality. And now Google fixed it so that I'm now here on the grid as well with you guys. So that's cool. Today we got a pretty special episode, and if you see me flinch like this, it's because there's a bunch of mosquitoes trying to eat me.
Yeah, I'm not getting any mosquitoes on this end of the deck.
Okay.
So
Ooh,
I'm just wondering if the mosquitoes are perhaps in your imagination.
yeah, I
Dude,
think
they're
they
right
are.
here.
Oh, really? Hang on, I'm
Yeah.
gonna walk over there. Be right back.
Yeah, let's see.
They're gone now.
Oh, face reveal.
Holy shit, there's a lot of mosquitoes.
Yeah. Okay.
I think those are in his imagination.
Okay. So should we start with story time?
Yes.
Yes, everybody loves story
Austin
time.
just spilled the water on his computer.
Holy crap!
Oh,
Oh, my keyboard. Oh well, it's waterproof. Who cares?
How is it waterproof?
Because it's membrane, so membrane's waterproof.
wait, you
Okay.
took your RGB,
No, I didn't spill it all over. It was like a drop.
like your RGB membrane? That one?
It's supposed to be membrane, but I think it's actually a mecha membrane keyboard. Like, because it doesn't sound as quiet as a membrane.
Bro,
I
your
don't know.
parents are gonna be mad.
No, my parents were pretty chill about it. They're like, "How much did that keyboard cost?" And I was like, $20." And they're like, with tax. And I was like, 80.
80 with tax. That's a
That's
lot.
expensive tax.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
I know. It's not actually 80 with tax. It's actually like,
Yeah.
I think it's like $80 or $90 from Staples. But like, I can spend that much on a keyboard if it's gonna last me.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Rip keyboard. No, actually, no. It's not actually broken. Nothing actually happened. I
Imagine
spilled like a drop.
Austin
I
spills
would
the
have
whole glass
used
of
the
water.
laptop keyboard.
Imagine. Oh, yo, you scared me. Imagine Austin spills the whole glass of water on everything, and it just blows up. It just like blows a fuse as we're on the phone. Okay, let's
Colin.
yeah.
Oh, I was trying to like scare you. I was like shooting it up so that way you thought it was gonna like
Yo, we
land on the
got frozen cow.
We got a frozen cow.
Okay.
key. Yo, did that scare you like a little bit?
So what Austin did, for you guys to know, he took his glass of water and chucked it into my bushes, and I was like, now your water's gone. You're not gonna get any more water now. I'm not
I
going
know.
back in. Okay.
Now
I know,
we
that's-
have a little
that's fine, I don't
spare,
care.
which is good, so.
No, like that water would last me like another 5 minutes and then it would have been gone.
Okay.
So like I
Wow.
don't.
Chug jug.
Any stories from this week from you guys? Any stories? Anything? Something happened to you this week?
No, but I got a funny story from like a long time ago, like in grade 6. You guys open to it?
Yep.
Yes.
If you want. I mean,
All
we don't
right.
have anything else to say, so.
All right. So perfect. So I was in grade 6, and me and my dad went out for a dinner at Denny's. Uh,
I think I
like
know this one.
like where the travel lodge is. I told you guys this, but like, so yeah, so I was in there, and there was this lady that like walks in, and she's like kind of staggering, right? So she was obviously like half drunk or something,
What
and
time
she
was
was
it?
like,
Like a nighttime?
yeah, it was at nighttime. It was like about 7, maybe 8, and I was like, me and my dad had like just we were having our milkshakes and playing a game of chess in Denny's, and then all of a sudden this lady walks in, and she's like, can can I can I have a fruit cup and a burger and a case of beer to go? And then they're like, oh, sorry, ma'am, we can't have a case of beer to go. And she's like, what? What is this? What is this? And then so they give her her stuff, and then she's like, are you kidding me? Because she's like, they gave her the stuff, and she's like, seriously, what is this? This is what isn't what I ordered. She's like, where's my fruit? Where's my fruit? Here's my receipt. Where's my fruit? And then they're like, sorry, ma'am, we're sorry, I didn't realize we were doing this. And she's like, y'all. She went up, she stood up on like one of the tables, and she's like, y'all see this right here? Y'all see this? Yeah, that's right. He's a racist ass right here, racist ass. She's like, he didn't give me my fruit because I'm black. That's why. He's a racist ass. Yo, everybody got to tear him up, call the police. Like, this is BS. And then, like, finally somebody started, like, somebody called 911 because she was, like, making a riot and disturbing everybody's dinner. Like, she was literally screaming at the top of her lungs in that restaurant. I, like, almost about to punch the guy that was working there. It was like, I know, I was just sitting there, and I was looking, and my dad whispers over to me, he's like, turn around, don't look at this weirdo. He's like, because that's just going to give her a reason to come and hit you. And I'm like, what? And he's like, you fool. And I'm like, okay. So like, we just keep playing our chess game, and I'm like, I'm losing. So I'm kind of hoping he'll like, I just keep looking around to tell him to stop, so that way like somehow I can muster up the time to think of a move that'll beat him. But like, yeah, I was just like, it was weird because it's like this drunk lady walks into a family-friendly restaurant and just starts screaming and like swearing and just generally just acting out of the norm. So I don't know. I think she was drunk. Like my dad afterwards, he's like, that lady must have been like seriously drunk. He's like, did you hear what she asked for? Like a case of beer to go? Like nobody does that. Like, what are you guys' thoughts on this?
Weird.
Like, it was 7 o'clock at night. Like, what drunk person gets in a car and drives at 7 o'clock at night to a family-friendly restaurant to harass some guy that's working behind the counter? What drunk does that? Because I mean, most of them that hop in the car usually end up dead before they get home. It's true.
Hmm.
You know, if you're drunk behind the wheel, you're obviously going to get into an accident. That's right, kids. Stay in school and don't drink and drive.
It's a very weird story, that is.
I know it is weird because then I remember I came to school and I told everybody, and everybody's like started laughing, and then they were all like, yo, like what is this weird lady like doing at 7 o'clock at night at a family friendly restaurant?
Yeah. It's starting to get dark out.
Yeah, my RGB's coming really, it's really bright now.
Um, any other stories from this week, Justin?
Well, this week I went cliff jumping. It was pretty fun. So we went to Lynn Canyon with a couple of my friends. It was actually my first time going to that spot. It was actually pretty fun. So there's like you have like two ledges. So there's one that's lower down. I'd say maybe around 4 feet, and the higher one is maybe like 6 feet or higher. And it was pretty fun. It was really cold though. So yeah, everyone was like shivering on the rocks and like yeah, it was really cold, but it was really fun, and it was like for my first time going, it was like I would definitely recommend it if you want to like, I don't know, have a good time. It's like pretty fun. So
Where has your pop filter gone?
it's over here. I took it off just cause I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm trying the sponge now, see if it sounds better. But
I just want to say, you must have nerves of steel because I can't cliff jump if my life depended on it. Like, if somebody put a gun to my head, I would just be like, nah, shoot me. I'm good.
yeah, it's pretty scary. But once you get in, you start to warm up, which is good. So
Yeah.
Austin, when you're not talking, try and mute it because there's static coming through. So there's like, it would just sound better.
That's not static. That's your neighbor's sprinkler.
Yeah, that's your
Oh
neighbor's
yeah,
sprinkler.
just mute it when you're not talking so you don't pick that up.
Yeah, yeah. My goodness, how long do they leave their sprinklers on? Like, geez, your lawn is practically drowning. Like the point of watering a lawn is not to drown it; it's to water it. Like, jeez.
Drown it.
Like, I don't know. Maybe you've invented like some new gardening technique that I haven't heard of. But, like, I don't know. I mean, maybe science is wrong. Maybe
irrigation
alien.
on a new level. You have to drown the grass, and then it will like become super green.
I know. Maybe science
You
isn't
have
real, and aliens, they're real. Bigfoot,
Yes.
he's real. They're all real.
yeah. Colin, do you have any stories for this week?
Nothing that happened to me personally, but I know this week there's been like a lot of bad things happen in the world. So we should
Yeah.
touch base on that soon. But
No,
first,
no more politics. No.
Yeah,
no,
no
not
more
politics.
politics.
There's not politics.
I feel like this is gonna somehow rope me into a politics section.
Oh no. Um, Et, do you have any story for this week?
No.
No, you just chilled all day.
Yes.
All
Nice. So now that we have no more stories to tell, I want to talk about the fact that, dude, it's funny. As soon as we're recording now, I don't remember his name, but what was his name? It was George
Oh,
something.
George Floyd, I think.
George Floyd. Yeah, he is American citizen. That is from Minneapolis, I think, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was he got murdered by a police officer there in broad daylight. And we're gonna be discussing our opinions on that. I'm gonna start with me on my opinion. Um, Now this occasion is obviously very sad to a lot of people, especially to his family probably. But in my opinion, well, I think we all know it's because of the color of their skin. They're African American. That definitely has something to do with that. Um, um, I. So here's the thing. I think I think he got himself into that situation, because the police had an idea that he was committing tax invasion. I think it was, or something like that. I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me on that. But something with tax, I think. And the police weren't sure that he was doing it. They had an idea, so I think they were just going to detain him. Um, but like when an officer detains someone or arrests someone, then their job's over. They have nothing else to do. That's all they have to do. In terms of arresting, that they just arrest someone, they put them in cuffs, put them in the back of the car. That's all you do. But this person took it way too far by murdering them, um, and it's obviously not right. And no matter what crime that person committed, it's still not okay for someone like that to die. And there was a bunch of people surrounding them, like saying like, please stop, like you're hurting him, like he's gonna die. And there was like 4 officers there that didn't care. They just let the officer do that instead of, stopping him, or telling him maybe you should, like, okay, like that's enough damage, right? They let him do it. And I personally think that the officer should get the punishment any other citizen would get, which would be go to jail. Currently, they're facing charges against them. Um, I mean, it sucks that racism is still going on. Like, this has been an ongoing problem in the world for like 200 years now. You think it would like, get any better? But I don't know. It sucks that racism is still this bad. But I feel like um, yeah, like I said, it doesn't matter what sort of crime they committed. It's still not okay to like the police officer is not a judge. They're not part of the U.S. Army or Navy or whatever. They don't have that right to kill on the spot. Like I said earlier, all their job is to detain or to arrest, put them in the car. That's it. That's all their job is. Nothing more than that. Um, you know what I mean? So that's my opinion on it. It's obviously very sad, no question about it. There's no right in that at all. But I want to hear you guys' opinions on that.
I'll go
Yeah.
first if you don't mind.
Okay.
All right, I think I'm actually surprised that racism still exists in the North states, considering they're more liberalized rather than the South. I mean, I would definitely expect to see this in the South United States because of the high amounts of racism. I think it sucks that we still combat racism, but yet it does not surprise me that we are still battling it just because our culture really hasn't changed much. It just goes to show that. And when it comes to crime, I feel like there are certain people that should face the death penalty, like serial killers and mass murderers should be executed. But for somebody who's tax frauding, the officer's job is to detain, not to shoot on spot. And I still don't think that even if you are a military person or you do work on a global scale as a CIA op, you shouldn't be allowed to kill on the spot. That's not right, no matter what kind of job it is. Like the government uses the excuse that, well, because they're doing it on a more national scale, international scale, they need to be able to shoot on the spot. But I don't think that should be like there are ways that you can subdue someone without killing them,
Yeah.
and like I just don't think that you should be allowed to kill no matter what circumstance you're in, unless if it's war where you have no other choice.
And
Um,
another thing
like
is, I just want to add quickly. Sorry.
yeah,
He actually, it's not like he was. He came out of the car and he got out and no hesitation. He followed what the officer was saying. And the bad thing is, as well, is that the cop didn't shoot him. The cop killed him by using his body strength. He like pinned him on the
so
ground with his
yeah,
He
beat
put
him to
his
death.
knee on his neck,
yeah.
and as the man was struggling, he didn't take his knee off his neck, even though he could see that he was struggling, and then he died on the.
Yeah, he even like told the cops he couldn't breathe,
Yeah,
but
he's like,
they didn't
so
do anything.
I'm breathing. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I feel like that man should be prosecuted. But you know what the sad thing about the U.S. law is? That man might get charged $500,000, go to jail for 6 years, and then he's free. That's how sad the system really is. Like somebody like that should be in for life, but instead he might get out for 10 years for good behavior. That's really what it will come down to. And I think that that's the problem with the justice system is killers should be prosecuted for life in prison.
Yeah, because you pretty much take a life, right? So
Yeah,
should
so
be
take
like
a
the
life.
tame.
And so you know what? I think that like my grandfather said that when he was living in Italy, if you did a murder like that, if you were murdering somebody, they would leave you in jail to rot. And I think that's the way it should be for killers. You should be left in jail to rot if you're a murderer
Yeah,
because you've taken a life. So now you need to pay with your life. And instead of just getting it over with a quick kill or something, let them suffer for years. Like let them live their days out in a crappy jail cell where they belong. You know, I think that killers should not be given rights. They should be immediately prosecuted and be sentenced immediately, no trial necessary. unless if they've been falsely accused.
There is such thing as like first degree murder. There's
I know,
different
but
types of.
it's very hard to get somebody like that, especially a cop with no record, in for life for something like that. So I don't know. I think that, and sometimes people who are in for life get sentenced, like maybe they get out after 50 years for good behavior. So that's, I think that good behavior shouldn't matter, and that you still pay your whole life in prison, no matter good behavior or bad behavior.
What are your guys' thoughts, ET and Justin, whoever wants to go?
I mean, I'll go.
Yeah.
So to add to the point, right? I think it's horrible, right? Like he was on the ground and he was struggling to breathe, and he was verbal about it. He said, like, "Stop! I can't breathe." And I think so. I was watching a video and a cop came out about this, and he's saying, as a cop, you're a paramedic, or you're supposed to go out there and help people. And if somebody is struggling, like in a state of like hurt or injury, you have to take them to a medical professional. So you take them to the hospital or something. And the other thing that struck out to me is the cop said it was four against one, and the man was cuffed. You'd think that that would be enough, right?
Yeah.
His arms is behind his back. He's on the ground, and there's four police officers. The cop in the video, he said, "Who do you think's in control? The man on the ground or the four men standing around him?" So it's just like it's really horrible that they would take his life for
Yeah.
no real reason, right? Like they just kind of, and it's just like it just shows how like racist it is still, and how prevalent it is, which is
I
sad.
just want to say, I feel like our culture hasn't really changed much. If we're still dealing with people in a Neanderthal like way, like that, then clearly we haven't changed much from our ancestors. We haven't really evolved much, have we? If we're still discriminating people over for stupid reasons like color or race. I mean, that is just really stupid, and I think that there should be a bigger penalty for racism.
Yeah, and the other thing is, it doesn't matter if you have a badge or you're higher up in like in class, right? In social like class, you still have to pay for what you've done, right? Like it doesn't matter if you're a cop or or a normal person. If you murder someone, you murder someone. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and the
Exactly.
other thing is he was like, I don't know, it's horrible. It's just like he's a normal person, right? And they had to take his life for no reason.
Other than the fact that he had a tax fraud,
Yeah,
which is not a legit enough reason. That kind of behavior should be prison, not death penalty, right?
exactly.
That's, and the way he killed him was just barbaric
Yeah, like
and
and
disgusting.
yeah,
Like,
it's horrible. I was
I
seeing
mean,
like
I can't believe that people actually don't have consciences, and their consciences don't like allow them to do that. That,
yeah,
like, that's just disgusting.
I was scrolling on my Instagram feed and I saw Colin Kaepernick. He's a football player, and during one of their anthems, right, he kneeled on one knee to it was just like I don't know, a couple years back, but he kneeled in the anthem, and it was for like Black Lives and like the Black Lives movement. And the NFL got really mad at that because it's like, oh, that's not patriotic. Like kneeling in the anthem is not right.
Well,
And
yeah, it isn't right. It's
yeah,
not
but he got
patriotic.
he got kicked out, right? And this is in this people are like there's fan art of Colin Kaepernick kneeling on that cop on the ground, and he said this is why we kneel. Like it's unfortunate that it has to come to that, right? Like they couldn't use any other
Well,
ways to
if,
go.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go on.
Um, I think it's just sad that, like, when you make art like that, you're just as bad as that cop making a football player kneeling on that cop's neck, right? That's just as bad. You're lowering yourself down to his level, and right, he's already on the lowest road you could possibly make. He's already a scum, right? You wouldn't want to lower yourself to that by making this art of him being killed and all this stuff. But it's just sad that our criminal justice system won't give him a life sentence.
Well, it's not ours though. It's America's.
Well, yeah, but I
You
mean,
mean our
like,
society?
yeah, our society. I'm not saying like ours is just Canadians because we're a bit more accepting and we have a much better um, social society in terms of we don't put up with homophobia and racism and we accept
Oh,
people no matter what. I think
another
that
thing I
it's
wanna,
important to do that.
yeah, I think another thing I want to touch on is that people are rioting now in Minneapolis,
Yeah.
and there's countless videos of people like on my Instagram feed. I saw like there was a Target, and it was like all the windows are smashed and places are on fire, and people are rioting. Like it's horrible, but like I don't know. I just think it's crazy how everyone, like on everyone's story, it's like justice for Floyd and like for George Floyd and like
Yeah.
it's crazy how it's like it's gone to that level, right? It's global. Like everyone has heard about this, right? So I don't know.
It's sad that we have a society that is, or that the United States is so racist and that they can't accept other cultures because the white man obviously dominates there, right? That's just an obvious fact that a white man has more power than a black man, and that's the unfortunate thing. And I think that's sad, and I think it's wrong. And I also think that it's wrong that they oppress anybody who's different than a white male or a white female. They are in some way have or still are oppressed like they are now. Like, I think it's just disgusting.
Sorry to interrupt. Also, I just want to say that the when your computer gets low on battery, which it should soon, um, just plug it into the blue cord.
I have it plugged into the wall, so it's not going to run
Oh,
low on
sorry. I'm
battery.
looking at the other side. Sorry.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Et, what are your thoughts on that? The George incident.
Yeah, I think it's really bad, and it's all like a culture thing, like what other cultures like what you're born and raised with, and like what people think is right and wrong, and it's what people believe, and it's not like good things that some people believe, but like they don't realize like what they're doing is wrong. So then that just happens like pretty much every day, like racism and stuff, everything bad.
Well, well, you notice it right away from the Trump Mexican border, right? Like that
Yeah.
was like ET. Aren't you Mexican?
Like half, I guess you could say, but
Exactly. So, I mean, that is racist, and I think that the like he could have worded that nicer. And I think that the fact that he's separating families is wrong. I don't believe that he used tear gas, but I do believe he is definitely separating families, and he should reunite them in the United States and not just deport them like he is. Get them a legal
yeah,
citizenship. Help them get a job, and then you know give them like a year or so to get on their feet, and then they can start paying taxes and be an actual citizen and actually benefit the U.S. economy because that you've got more people working for the United States if you let more people in, right? So I feel like he's only hurting his economy by doing that to
yeah,
some extent.
It's true. It's true.
But you have to be careful that you don't let the cartel in because that could really ruin things.
Yeah.
Like it could cause major drug problems.
Yeah, that's true. And I know in some parts of Mexico, that's also an ongoing issue as well.
Exactly. I was talking to Axel, like Colin, Axel, right? He was talking about how the drug cartel often raids border cities and mercilessly slaughters people for no reason,
Yeah, they
like in
do that.
places like Tijuana and other places close to the
Cabo.
border.
Cabo, they do that.
What, Cabo San Lucas?
Well, not as much. I know they've had some issues with like tornadoes and stuff there.
Yeah, but like
On
I'm
the
talking about
outskirts.
cartel.
Yeah, like in the outskirts, they might have some problems there, but it's not as bad
Um,
in Cabo.
Well, my grandfather has drove down to Cabo San Lucas, and he said that there wasn't too many cartel problems once he got closer to Cabo. but like it's along that arm that you'll find a few
Yeah,
problems.
exactly.
But as long as you don't stop and get out of your car, you should be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Like the resorts and stuff, they're very welcoming. I've been to Cabo San Lucas myself, and they're very welcoming. A lot of them speak English as well. That's very helpful. And they're very considerate of their visitors. I didn't find any racism at all. When I was in Mexico, you know, a big issue. Like Americans and Canadians are very similar in the way that they speak and they look. But if you really get to know like an American and a Canadian, they're much different, much different, personality wise, language, and all sorts of stuff. But one big issue that American people are doing for the Canadians um, is that when there's a Canadian traveling, a lot of people, like let's say I travel to Portugal or like England or something, a lot of people are gonna think I'm American, just by my appearance, and you know, it's hard to tell the difference sometimes. Let's be real. Um, so, it America is not helping Canada in that way. They're not making it better for people that are trying to travel that are Canadian. It's just all around not good in that sense.
Well, I've never been mistaken for a white man. I've been mistaken for Spanish, Mexican, Portuguese, Iranian, but I'm actually Italian and I'm also UK. I've never been mistaken for that, but people will usually tell by your accent, and I think that if we had truly eliminated racism, then people wouldn't look at your accent and think, "Oh, he's Canadian," or "Oh, he's British," or "Oh, he's French," or "Oh, he's Italian." Like they wouldn't think of that. They would just think you're a person, and they would respect you, and they wouldn't stereotype you like when you go traveling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like treat everybody equally. Like
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
would be good.
and I mean, it's really sad that we have this problem, and I hope that one day our governments will realize their stupidity and fix this problem with harsher penalties and by maybe a culture change.
Yeah, and a lot of people were like, a lot of YouTubers were making videos of the George incident, which I think is a good thing because, like Markiplier mentioned, you guys can go watch his video if you haven't. He explains the wrong in racism, and he even mentions in the video he wants to use his platform because he has a massive following. He wants to use his platform, the people that watch him, he wants to spread good messages, which I respect, and he talks about the wrongs in racism and why our culture is like so bad with racism nowadays, and I agree with everything he says in that video. And like in the beginning, he says, like I mentioned, he says that I want to make, I want people that watch me, I want to have my audience, like, I want to teach them good things. I don't want to, because I have such a big following, I'm not going to tell them bad things and stuff like that because it will be bad on not only Markiplier but on his fans. They're going to do bad stuff if they see he's doing bad stuff or saying bad stuff. Um, but yeah, he has a good point on that. He says that racism there's no room for it in our society, and it's just not acceptable. And not only Markiplier, I've seen clips on in Impulsive. They talk about George, and they talk about George. I think Nike made a whole ad about it, like about racism. They had like a promotional video that a lot of athletes are posting now on like Twitter and Instagram. They're posting that, like reposting like what Nike made, and
Yeah, but I find Nike is very hypocritical considering they use child labor in third world countries, and yet now that they've changed their slogan, they're like, "Oh no, we're anti-racism." I think that you should clean up your own slate before you try and take on world problems, because when people try and take on a world problem, it's usually because they've got their own stuff in a disorder and they just want to take on something else and forget about their own problems. But the reality is, you can't just do that because then your actions don't back up what your mouth says.
Yeah. I just want to warn you guys. I don't know why, but I just received a battery warning. I have 18 minutes until my battery goes off, so I might have to use that cable. Uh, and yeah. So what I'm gonna do in like a couple minutes, I'm gonna check up on this, see how it's doing. I'm gonna like mute my mic and turn off my camera, and you guys can continue. But I do wanna kind of stop this racist section. I think we've covered most of it, I would say. Um, so I want to ask your opinion on. Or I think Austin, you had to show us a video. You wanted to.
Yeah, I've got two videos I want to go over. I want to go over one of Jad's, obviously, because we have to comment on his channel. And then I also wanted to go over my highlight reel. And by the way, I just want to say before we showcase this, I want to say a massive thank you to Harrison Taylor or HT Studios. Make sure to go and check him out. And the Highlight Factory was another one where I got a lot of my clips, so please go and check them out as well. Links to both will be in the description.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I'm going to pull this up.
Okay. I'm gonna go plug in my computer. I will be back, guys. So just give me like a couple minutes.
Okay, so let me just screen share. Let's hopefully this will work.
Yes, it should.
So um, I'm going to share this. So tell me if you can see this.
Yes, we can see.
All right.
I can see it.
All right. Good.
Whoa, spooky music.
That crash though. All right. So that is the whole video.
Damn.
Uh, so like, what did you think of that? Like, that compilation was completely. I sourced out all these clips. Once again, massive shout out to Highlight Factory and HT Studios. Um, but yeah, I sourced out these clips from some other YouTubers as well, and Harrison helped me edit this, and I just wanted to know what your guys' thoughts were on it.
It was pretty cool. It's crazy that people can do that. Like, I don't know. You think like I don't know, just like in basketball and soccer, there's a lot more like I think I don't know. I don't play hockey, but I can assume there's like more freedom for like tricks and like flashy moves. But to do that at that speed, like going down the ice, like that's crazy that people can like do that.
I I know I play hockey, and I'm just gonna say that it's not easy to do that at that speed. Like I've done it, but it's hard to time it perfectly because you're either gonna time it too late or too early. So it's like you have to know, like you have to take a look at what his poke check range is, and then decide from there. It's also about how you position yourself. Like it takes a lot of skill to pull off like what these guys are doing and to just know where to be at all times. It's very challenging.
Mhm.
And yeah, like any more thoughts on it?
I know. I bet it's good. ET, do you have anything to say?
It was so good. Those guys are so pro.
I know, right? Like, I should have, like, as you can tell, I chose a lot of Red Wings clips because I'm a Red Wings fan. Because the Canucks are just so bad. But um, like the Red Wings are just way better. And I mean,
Oh,
the Red Wings have won 11 Stanley Cups. That's 11 more than the Canucks will ever win.
I have something to say.
Oh,
When were the like? What years do you think those clips are from, or like most of them?
I know that those Red Wings clips. One of them's from like just a couple of years ago. A couple were from, I think maybe like 2012 or 2011.
So you'd say they're
That
pretty
Sidney
recent.
Crosby has probably been in like the last year or two. The McKinnon one was in 2016, I think, 2015 or 2016.
So
They're all from
they're
like that area.
pretty recent.
Except for the Pavel Bure. Pavel Bure was
Oh
in like
yeah, yeah.
the 80s or something like I think it was the
Yeah.
70s or 80s.
It's pretty
But
cool
that's
how
like the oldest clip.
sports evolve, right? Like I don't know, basketball and soccer and hockey, like
Oh,
fast
hell yeah.
and better training and better equipment. And it's crazy. Like if you watch an older game, it's just so cool to see how much like the game, like all of these sports have changed, which is a pretty cool thing to experience.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. Like years ago, like my dad talks about when he was playing, even when he was playing like pro in Europe, like he said that guys didn't really work out too much. Like they didn't put stress on working out. Like now
Yeah.
everybody works out. Like even I work out. I bench press 70 pounds, 75 pounds,
Mhm.
and I back squat about 115. Like,
Yeah.
and there's guys that are in like same age as me that can lift way more than that.
Yeah.
Like some guys are just built to like bench press like 100 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Like it's very tricky um to get far in a sport now because everything like you got to do everything and it's so much more competitive and time consuming. Like you even noticed it when you were playing silver trying to make gold, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like you have to. It's just you gotta keep that grind up. You know what I mean? And even through this whole COVID thing, right? Like I've been trying to just I don't know. I've been doing some basketball drills and stuff, and just doing some workouts and just trying to get better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that that's a good thing because it keeps competitive and it makes the game at a higher level when you play.
Yeah. Proper drop. I'm gonna
Oh
present
yeah.
it right
Okay.
now.
I had to
Uh,
move because my brother had to get into the door because I was like right from my front door, and it's getting dark, so I wanted more light. So I'm next to a window, so there's like more light on me, so that's good.
all right. I'm just trying to get the present or try to present my screen here. All right. Can you see it?
whoa,
Holy
cop
crap!
already. I'm saying cop.
So the Travis Scott Air Max 270, they're called the Cactus Trails, came out, or they're dropping. I think the 26th. They're dropping pretty soon. It's pretty cool. So they're like the 270 model. You can see the big air bubble there. Um, it's got like some suede details, and I think it's pretty cool. I don't know. What do you guys think?
So cop.
Dude, that
Yeah.
looks pretty cool. I would buy those.
Hmm.
I don't know. The thing
Looks
is,
like
I think that
cheesies.
yeah, from the original 270, they look a little bit different, and I don't know, they're pretty cool. They're like a pretty out there shoe, but I think that see the pants there. I think it looks good with that. Like if you have like a pretty um minimal outfit, and then you have like the trail runners or whatever on it. I think it would look good with that, or like a more like black and white sort of thing, or more like black or darker type fit. But I think they're pretty cool. So I'd probably say cop.
What
Yeah.
shoe does Chris have? What Air Max?
Oh, he's got the Air Max. I think I forget which ones they were because I don't like have a picture. I think those might be the 270s, but in a different color.
Yeah, that's what I was
But
thinking.
yeah,
He
yeah.
got them on sale for really cheap. Um, for those, how much are they going for?
A lot. Since anything with Travis Scott is like bound to be really expensive. I can't find a price right now, but they'll be going for a lot. I can tell you that. But yeah, what do you think, Austin?
I don't know. I think they're pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I got another copper
Well,
drop.
I don't necessarily know
Also,
I would buy them just because I don't really like fancy, like really complex like color schemes like that. But I still think they look cool, and yeah, that's kind of all I got to say.
I would
All right.
say, I'm gonna have to say drop.
Yeah,
no.
What about you,
No,
Justin? What'd you say?
me.
Yeah, what'd you say?
I'll take cop.
What about
Yeah, let's
Austin?
go.
I'd say cop.
Cop.
Let's
Okay.
go. We're getting them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yo,
I
I'm
got
gonna
a
pull.
copper
I'm gonna
drop for
pull
you
up.
guys.
Yo, as soon as they come out, I'm gonna buy them, and then I'm gonna pull up on the podcast and flex on everybody.
Really?
Yeah, just because I
They're
can.
gonna be like $1,000.
Yeah,
More.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
sacrifice
I
like
got a
More.
copper
UTC.
drop for you guys.
Okay.
It's a drop online, so you have to like have really good clicking and really good Wi-Fi.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yep. Let's
Yeah.
I
see
think
it.
I showed Cal this. Cal. Copper drop.
Oh, drop, nasty. I've seen that
100%
before.
cop.
Like ET already showed me this, but like,
Yeah.
man, that is a garbage keyboard. Like, what an absolute piece of shit.
Drop.
Dude, cop.
Oh yeah, cop. Okay, we're getting it. We're getting this.
Drop. All right. So do you want to wrap it up at maybe 10? Like, go for another 16?
Oh.
We've been recording for an hour and 5 now. If we don't
So,
have any
yeah.
other segments, then we should just end it
Yeah.
here. Unless you guys
Bye,
have any other.
guys.
Oh, you're gonna go now?
Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about?
Not really.
Nope.
Not sure. Let me just think. Anything from you, Colin?
No, but I just want to say the audio in this video might be pretty bad. I've had some interruptions. I had to charge my laptop. I had to move locations. And yeah, so if the quality is bad, I'm sorry. It's like we've had a lot of issues tonight with echo. The cameras, the boys can't put on the cameras. But I think we've had some good discussion topics. I think we've covered some good.
I was just like making like this PC.
Is that Gavin?
Oh, Gavin, bro. All I want to say is this is a really good episode.
In
I'm
terms of
sorry
what
that
we're
we've had-
talking about, like
Like,
stuff.
yeah, I think that we covered some really good content. I would love to see this kind of happen again next week. Hopefully some stuff interesting in the world happens, so we have this kind of topic to talk about.
But you're not gonna join us again.
Yeah, I might not. I don't know. I'm still debating over whether or not I'm gonna leave or join, but I'm more on the leave side. I don't know. If you guys need a guest, I'm happy to join
Yes.
till the end of the summer.
Okay.
But then I might have to leave
Okay.
because schedule in the fall for me is very busy.
Okay.
Gede Lamborghini.
What do you?
Yeah. We should. I
End it
think
here?
I think we've covered all we need to cover tonight,
Why?
and I'm glad that
Gede Lamborghini.
ET, ET, mute your
ET.
mic.
Mute your mic.
Colin, mute him.
Oh no.
Okay. Let's end it here. Thanks for watching. This has been the Boys
Thanks for
Podcast
watching.
and the Podcast
Alright.
Boys, and we'll see you next episode. Bye, guys.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
Ciao, guys.